The last tutorial demonstrated how to create posts within WordPress, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to format the text of this post using the native editor within WordPress. We'll start by returning to the dashboard and opening up the post that we've already created. Also in the last tutorial I demonstrated how to use the toolbar toggle, which is also referred to as the kitchen sink, that you can use to expand additional features for text formatting. I demonstrated how to use the paste as plain text feature if you're copying and pasting content from a word processor like Microsoft Word. There's also the clear formatting option here, which is this eraser icon that you can use to clear any formatting that you've applied to the post. If you've used any type of word processor in the past, you're going to be familiar with several of the features that are available in the native WordPress editor. The first few features in the editor, including bold, italicized, and strike-through text, you may be familiar with, and you may also be familiar with creating unordered and ordered lists. One feature you may not be familiar with is creating block quotes. I'll highlight some text here that I'd like to stand out, and I'll click on the block quote icon within the toolbar. This again helps text to stand out and appear differently from other text within the post. I'll show you what this looks like on the front end once we run through some additional features. The next set of features may also be familiar to you, and I won't provide a demonstration here. These include the horizontal line, left, center, and right alignment. A very popular feature when creating content for the internet is creating a link through text. I'll highlight our CloudAccess.net text here and click on the chain link icon within the editor. I'll have this window open up, and I can use this area to provide an external URL. I'll type in our web address here, and I can also add in a title. This is text that appears below the link when you hover the mouse over the text on the front end of the WordPress website. If I'd like the link to open up in a new window in the user's web browser, I'll select this Open Link in a New Window checkbox. Alternatively, I can have the link point to some existing content that I've created in the WordPress site. I just select one of my posts or pages here if I'd like to do that. I'll go ahead and click on the Add Link button, and I'll see that the text is green within my post. We'll check to be sure that this link is working correctly once we update the post, but if I want to break the link, I'd highlight the text and click on this Remove Link icon within the toolbar. The next useful feature when preparing content for the web is inserting a Read More tag. I'll place my cursor at the end of this line and click on the Insert Read More tag button within the editor. Site visitors will see all the text that appears before the Read More tag, and they'll have to click on the Continue Reading button to access the rest of the text within the post. The next thing I'll do is highlight the heading of my post so I can illustrate how to use the first option in the second row of the editor to apply the Heading To style, which is defined by my WordPress theme. Each theme has various formatting styles available through that dropdown. You may be familiar with the next set of features, which includes underlined text, justified text, which is block text, and the ability to select a text color. You also have the ability to highlight text and click on the Indent button within the editor to indent the text. If you'd like to outdent the text, click on the icon before it to decrease the indent. Of course, you also have the ability to undo the previous change by clicking on the Undo button within the editor. The last option available within the editor is keyboard shortcuts, and if you click on that question mark icon, you'll get a list of these keyboard shortcuts that you can use to apply text formatting by simply highlighting the text and clicking on the combination of keys on your keyboard. Before we update this post so we can see all the changes we've made live on the front end, notice how we can click on this text tab here to view the HTML version of our post. For instance, notice how our heading is wrapped in this H2 tag. Now, you don't need to know HTML in order to be able to work with WordPress, but it can be useful in some situations. This H2 tag is actually indexed by internet search engines and can help people find us on the internet. To close the HTML view of our post and go back to the visual layout, we'll click on the Visual tab here. It's also important to note that WordPress has a distraction-free writing mode. If we click on this icon here, our post will expand into a larger viewing area so we can see more of what we're working on without any distractions. Any text that we add here will be automatically saved into the WordPress post. If we move our mouse towards the top of this page, we can apply text formatting or click on the Exit Full Screen link to exit distraction-free writing mode. The next thing we'll do is we'll update this post so we can return to the front end of the site and see our changes. Once the post has been updated, I'll return to the front end of the site and refresh the page to view all the text formatting changes that I've applied. The first thing that I notice is the heading that we applied through the Style dropdown and the CloudAccess.net link within the text. If I click on that link, notice how the link opens up into a new tab. If I return to the WordPress site, I can also notice my block quote and the Continue Reading button. If I click on that button, I can view the rest of the post, all the text and the comments that appear below the Read More tag. The next tutorial will show you how to include media within the WordPress post, including embedded images, featured images, and image galleries.